Hello, and welcome to this video on how I am making a special Google Sheet for my weekly lesson plans, pulling from the pre-reading and lesson plans that I created during my reading process. So this is something that I've created because my Form 2 fifth grader is going to be um, a little bit more independent this year. And instead of her being just dropped off into the pool of, hey, figure it out, I really wanted to have some hand holding. And so I really searched the web for a lot of different ways to make this work. Um, and I wanted to pull in as much information, like things that we would probably say, like for an introduction and the recall or the recap from the previous lesson. I also put in narration prompts as well as things that we could discuss. And so she can be thinking about that until we're able to have our discussion. It's usually not going to be right at the end of our lesson, but that way she can be thinking about it and be prepared for a discussion. I also have our notebooking prompts that she'll be using to guide her through those types of lessons, along with links. So this video, I'm not going to show the part of adding links in with a QR code. If that's something that you would like to learn, please leave me a comment and let me know because I can also do another video. Okay, so for the start of this, I have my Google Sheet set up like this. And really, you can do it however you want. You can have one box with everything in one box, or you can have it separated like this. It's totally up to you how you want to go about planning your lessons. The only thing that is really important is making sure you have your lessons labeled in a term, week, and day basis. This is how I'm able to pull the information I need by those numbers. I don't do like term one each time. It's just term is in a column and the number one is underneath. And I'll go more through that in just a little bit when we talk about the actual coding to make this process work. I do have the subject on here and the book because I was using a few different books, but then I kind of streamlined it a little bit. And so I don't actually need to use the book part on the plan that I made. So I'm not even going to pull that subject over. It'll just be understood that we're going to be reading from Stories of America when we do our history. So what I normally do is I have like a sheet of paper in front of me where I have written out all these like lesson, recall, intro, names, places, dates, vocabulary, narration ideas, discussion, notebooking. And I even put a little place for my own commonplace area that I'll pull into my own sheet. And then links. And links over here just says yes. And like I said, I'll show you more about that later. I actually have a little place over here, and this box is so big because of my lesson that takes up a lot of space over there. But I put the links down here. The links are a little bit different to pull in. You can't actually pull them in the same way. It will like disconnect your linking process, but that's something that we'll talk about in another video if you guys are interested. Okay, so I've written down all of my headings here, and then I just make sure I label like lesson is F. So I wrote F on my paper. And really, like when I have so many of these things that I'm doing, so many subjects, I have the labels that I use for all of them, but some subjects like composer, I'm not going to need intro, or I'll use intro, but I'm not going to need some of the other headings like I might use dates or vocabulary. There's not going to be much vocabulary or narration ideas. I mean, some of those things we will use, but all I'm trying to say is that I make a list of all the headings and then I just go through and I erase the letters that correspond with the heading each time I'm doing a different subject layout. And this is how we're going to use the recall to get that to come into our lesson plan. So once you have all this done, then I was trying to make this like a weekly plan, but I think it will be much better to have it for a daily plan and just have 5 different ones for each of the 5 days that I'm doing school. Excuse me. So all I did was kind of set this up as a printable, what I want it to look like. Yours can look totally different. It is totally up to you. Basically, I just listed out, this is Monday. It's for my daughter Kinsley. This is that QR code that I'm using. And then I listed the classes. For these classes I have, yellow is together lessons and purple are individual lessons. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on this American history. So for American history, it's just 1 day a week, and I'm going to do it on a Monday. So in order to get this going, I need to do a few things to kind of prepare my term, week, and days. So I created this tab called data validation, and I just leave it here. We can hide it whenever we're not using it, but that way that information is there. And basically you want to have your term, your weeks, and your days laid out because you're going to copy them whenever you're creating your code to make everything pull in. So I have 3 terms. For the weeks, I have 11. I really only do 10, but I do put 11 in there for a catch up. And then days, since I'm only doing this 1 day a week, I really only need to put 1. But for other classes, I have them 5 days a week. So I'm just going to put all 5. That way it's already done. And then, so that's ready to go. I've also put this code here just so you guys could see it later, but I will show you how that works in just a moment. We're going to set up these term drop-down boxes here. So this is the same thing that you'll do on each one of your subjects here, but I'm just going to show you for American history because I have that plan here ready to go in the sample lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and write term, week, and day. And then underneath, I want to put in a drop down. So what I'm going to do is go to data, and I'm going to click data validation. And we're going to add a role. Over here it says drop down, which yes, we do want that, but we're going to get it from a range. So over here, I'm going to click range, and then I'm going to click this little box so we can select the range. And then it pops up with this thing. Now you're going to go to data validation, and you're going to select everything for the term. So click the first box and then just drag it down to your thing and push OK. And then I am actually going to change this under advanced options. Make sure it says reject the input. And then down here, I'm going to put arrow because I don't like the way the chip style looks. And push done. Okay, and then when we go back to our sheet here, you'll have a drop down arrow and you'll have 1, 2, and 3. So those are your terms. If you do quarters or if you do semesters, you can change it to whatever fits you. And that's the beauty of this spreadsheet is you can make it whatever works for you. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing for weeks. So we're going to go to data, data validation, add a rule. We're going to go to drop down from a range. We're going to click this and then go back to data validation. We're going to highlight all of our weeks here. Push OK, and then scroll down. Advanced options, I'm going to change this to arrow. Push done. And then when we go back, we should see that we have all of our weeks in there. Okay, so same thing for days. I'm going to go to data validation, add a rule. So because this one, I only want to do 1 day because I only have it 1 day a week. I'm going to select one. I mean, I guess you could just put one in there, but it's easier for me to just keep it all on the same. And then use the arrow and it's done. So if this is on, let's say we're now, let's pretend we're doing American history for 2 days a week. So if you wanted to do it for Monday and then Wednesday, if you just select this and then you can edit here and then just go to this range place again, you can go back to data validation and you can highlight 2 days because you'll have 2 days. And then you can save it. And then you will have 2 days there. You can also do it if this is, Monday is day one and then Wednesday is day two. You can select this to where only day two is popping up, like this. That way you don't have to have the number one in there on a Wednesday because Wednesday is always your day two option. So I'm just kind of showing you different ways to do this. So pretend this is Wednesday and then you just have day two. So basically what I am doing here is I'm kind of telling my spreadsheet where to look and what those numbers here are going to equal over here for the lessons. So that's what we're matching up. So I'm going to change this back to number one because that's what matches my spreadsheet because I only have 1 day a week. Oops. Okay. And then we'll go back here and make sure. Yep, there we go, number one. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. Let me get a drink. What we're going to do, I'm going to actually go through this formula with you. So the formula is equals query, and then this orange part here is this spreadsheet. So it's American history, and these are the cells that it's reading, A2 through E. Well, we want it to be a little bit longer than that, but we can adjust it. And then this part of the code, it's saying select D. D is our column number, like up here. So we want, so for like if we want to pull in the lesson for that day, mine on my spreadsheet was F. So I need to put select F. And then it says where A equals, and then here it has A5 highlighted. This is the cell. So if you go over here, you can see this purple. That's what it's telling me here. So we're going to change that whenever we put it in our actual schedule down here on Monday. We're going to change that to be whatever our drop down box number is. And then the same and B equals and B5 and C equals, and the numbers are all going to be the same across. It's just A, B, and C have to match because that's what our term weeks and days are in our lesson plan. So each of those lesson plans have to have those so that you can make this pull through and work. You can also do where it pulls multiple columns through. So this is like if I only have one column that I want to pull through at a time. You can also do E, K. You can put, they don't have to be in the same range. This is telling me that there's an error because look here, my highlighted areas that I'm telling it to go look for this information is beyond K. So it wouldn't work. So if I went to P, then it would be fine. But so this is the code that we'll use to make sure it pulls in. And let me just, I didn't write this down earlier, but I want to make sure that I do it right. So you're not like, what are you doing? And then select Okay. And we can always just copy part of this code to make sure that it works. In fact, I think I might just do that. It will make it easier. I'll do the select part. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go to our Monday here. And I have lesson, recall, introduction, and name. So on my list, I need, just from looking back over here, remember lesson, I need F, recall is G, intro is H, and I is name. So I'm going to just put those in order in that first box. So let's go back over here to Monday, and we're going to start typing just equals query, and then you can select query because it pops up. And now if you highlight this question mark, it'll kind of tell you what it needs from you. So we're going to go over to this American history. So this is all going to be populated for you, and you're going to select. You don't need to do the heading, just do underneath the heading. So A2, and we're going to do all the way to the end of our spreadsheet. And once you actually do this a few times, you kind of understand how it works, and you can just really type it in. It's kind of hard to get it all in there sometimes. So there we go. We have that part in there. And then we're going to do select, and this is where I'm actually going to paste. Select D, E, K. We're going to change that to, oops, don't do where, do select F, G, H, and I. And then let's go back to Monday here. So it's showing there because I had it on show the formula when it was copied. And now we need to do A5. Basically right now it's saying A5, or I'm sorry, A25. A5 up here is highlighted, but there's nothing there to match to. So there's nothing that it can add. So we're going to change this part to A25. Oops, 25. B25. C25. And then, uh-oh, still not working. Let's see here. Of course this would happen, right? Oh, let me take off this letter. Probably because I need to select something. Here we go. And there's our lesson. So if you don't get anything, pick your numbers, and that way it has something to select. Once you actually select something, you can't like unselect it, so we'll never do that again. And I'm going to just kind of format my cells. Once you're formatting here, it's going to stay that way through the week. So I just kind of do it as I go. I just want everything to be left-sided. I like this Laura font. And then I want everything to wrap. And there we go. There's everything there. I didn't have a lesson here. This one is kind of long, so I could shorten it, but I do like the intro that it has. You could also put names or however you want your spreadsheet to look. It can look however you like it to. You can add things down here and then just merge this introduction together if that's kind of a heavy place where you're having a lot of writing. So now I'm going to do places. And after I already have this one set up, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this section here. And we can paste it down here under places. And all I'm going to do is change these columns. So everything just needs to be selected with a comma. So places is J, dates is K, vocab is L, and narration is M. And then when I push enter, there they all are. Oops. This mouse is very touchy. Okay, so now I'm going to just format these so they're the way I like them. Everything is at the top, wrap, and then change the font. And then for discussion, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to paste, and it pulled up what was there before, but if you just double click that first cell, you can change the columns. So discussion is N, and narration is O. Push enter. And then I will just format these, and I don't know why sometimes everything is just in a different font and weird, but it is. So there is the lesson for history, just the way I put it in to the spreadsheet here. Everything pulls in. If I do make a change here, like if I decide, hey, let's just go ahead and take out all of this here, then when you go back to your spreadsheet or your weekly sheet, it took it out here as well. So that's how you do that part. And now I'm going to show you how you can copy these term, week, and days and put them for each one of them. And then you can edit the days if you are doing like scripture, memory, and hymn. We're doing that every day. So I need 5 of them. But like I said before, Monday would be day 1, Tuesday would be day 2. So I'm only putting day 1 on Monday. Day 2 would be assigned to Tuesday. Day 3 would be assigned to Wednesday. So they will each only have 1. That's how I'm doing it. You can also do it to where you have all of them on there, 1 through 5, if you're doing this 5 days a week or however many days you're doing things, per week. So that way, if you do get behind and you skipped it, then you can just add it to the next day that you do it and then just select the day that lesson was on. Or another way you can kind of catch up is to just go back to your actual lesson plan here and just move whatever you didn't get to the next lesson or change the number over here. So just different ways that you can make this work for your family. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these. So I just did Command C because I'm on a Mac, and I like it to line right up with the top of the actual subject. So I just push paste, and I'm just going to do that for all of them here. And then we have one more down here. Yeah, this history lesson is a little bit long, but it's also the first lesson of that subject. So usually the introductions for me have been a little bit lengthy, but I do like that, my daughter has something to read and then kind of, oh, okay, this is what we're going to read about. Okay, so changing the days here. We are going to say we're going to do this for 5 days. So go under days, like your week should be the same. Go under days and push this pencil to edit. And then we're going to select this box like we did before. Select the data range. Once you open that, you can click on data validation, and then you can copy the days, and then it would push OK, push done, and then it's going to come up to this apply to all. We don't want to apply it to all because it's going to change the one that we just want, the 1 day. So we're just going to say just this instance. So always say just this instance. And then when we go back to our sheet here, when you select it, all your days will be populated. Okay, so that's how you do that, and you can change them. So let's pretend this is our day 2 Old Testament. We want to select day 2. So we're just going to select day 2, push done, only this instance, and then go back to our sheet, and then only day 2 will be there to select. It did have a little red flag there because it was already on 1, and then the 1 was deleted, like it wasn't an option anymore. So you have to select day 2. So that's how you do that. And then I'm just going to kind of show you what it looks like when we change the weeks here because I forgot to do that a little bit ago. So day or week 2 populates, week 3, week 4. I just think this is so neat and so easy to, if you miss last week and it was week 6, you can just put that one back in there and go on for that week. It's not like you're having to erase in your paper planner and try to catch up. So that is, that's how I did it. Pretty easy. The other thing I wanted to show you is how I print. I'm going to close this side over here. So how I printed was I highlighted this. You have to highlight in one click. So highlight A, B, and C. Actually, did I do B? I don't remember. Let's just do those. And then right click, and then you're going to hide the columns. And then I actually like to hide all these to the right. So I'm going to click J, Command Shift, and then the right arrow, and it highlights all those. And then I'm just going to put hide. It just kind of makes this smaller. And then the same, once you're done with all your lessons down here, just click a cell, Command Shift down. I'll highlight all of them, right click and hide. And so then you just have like the actual lesson, not extra stuff, extra space. And then we're going to go to File, Print. And then I like to do portrait, fit to width. That's usually what I select. And then normal margins. And then the formatting, I like this to be no grid line, so there's nothing there to all those boxes. You can add your own footers. So if I wanted to put this up here, like week 1, and then maybe term 1, and then 2023 to 2024. So if you do keep these and take notes on them, then they'll be on there for keepsakes. So week 1, let me just make this smaller so it's not so big. So week 1, and then there's the bottom part of it. So you can also add page numbers. But I guess that put on the grid lines. I think you can add page numbers. Probably easier to do in here. Here they are. Page 1. There you go. I think that would be good just in case they got it out of order. The other thing, if you have multiple kiddos, or let's just say you have all these days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you could go to print. Instead of current sheet, select workbook. And then underneath that, you can select the sheets. So you would select Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And you can do it for multiple kids. So like I have Kinsley Monday, and then I have Together Monday. You can do all of those together, push apply, and then all these settings would go for all of the sheets that you're going to print. Does that make sense? So I'm not going to actually print it, but hopefully this was helpful to get you guys using your pre-reading plans or pre-reading lessons, and then you can make a little spreadsheet. Like I said, you can pretty much make this weekly sheet have as much or as little information as you want on it. You can literally just have one single box that you pull through, or you can have multiple boxes that you pull through like I did. And then let me just tell you one more thing. When you're done with this week and then you want to plan for the next week, just open up your hidden columns here, and then you're just going to change to week 2. Week 2. I mean, it's as easy as that. You can also just set it up for one box and you just push week 2 and then it all kind of changes. But I wanted it separate like this, which does make more clicking happen. but I didn't want to get behind and then I have no way to fix it. So that was my thought process on keeping it as separate selections for each subject. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Again, if you guys are interested in learning how I am using the QR code for the links, that way we just have all the links for all that the links for the week will be on the QR code, and they'll pull into a similar type spreadsheet, but it will only be viewable on the the internet, I guess. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you have a blessed day.